You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
Ding dong. Hello?
Everybody three count. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't get here because I was cute, or because I came from some famous wrestling family, or because I sucked up to the right people. I got here because I am good. I earned this championship.
Frustrated into the goddamn word for it. This is bullshit.
Brett made a very, very selfish decision. Brett's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. Brett screwed Brett. I have no sympathy whatsoever for Brett.
This is my show, and I'm sick of all of you calling me the coward. You're the cowards. I'm the one here day in and day out in that wrestling ring beating people up. Thank you very much.
I don't steal opportunities. I am the opportunity.
3 ain't enough now. I need 5. Welcome in, Jim.
I'm an idiot.
Ryan.
I'm a sausage guy.
Matt.
Who gives a shit?
Tim.
Right on the cock.
And intern Mark.
Hi, boy.
I'm going to tell y'all with a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday Live. It is September the 9th, 2021. The NFL is back tonight, but mute the commentators. We don't need to hear them. Listen to us, watch them. Welcome to 3 Count Thursday. We are still the podcast of the millennium. Make sure you go to 3countthursday.com. We have our social media. Follow us there, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our merchandise at Tim. How are we gonna do this now? I don't.
Oh man, I had this great idea and then I lose my bit.
I mean, we are still at what a maneuver.
What a maneuver.
But we're more
What a maneuver.
What a maneuver.
Actually, what a maneuver.
No, what a maneuver. Dot move.
But we're not. We're on somewhere else now.
T-Public.
We T-Public.
We out here live on T-Public, baby.
Find our link tree. It's on there. We got to work on this gimmick. Our Patreon page, patreon.com/3CountThursday, our Collar and Elbow brand deal. Store.collarandelbowbrand.com. Use promo code 3Count. Our home network, of course, is NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. And our secondary home is the Leap Sports and Music Network. Ryan, where can the people find that?
Yeah, it's right above Matt's left shoulder, LEEIBsports.com.
There you go. Thank you, Ryan. Another big week behind us. We're going to try to talk about all of it. And Tim didn't get to make his picks again this week, but we will get to that. Devin checking in with us. What's up, Devin? Commentators are talking Tampa's already 17-0. I mean, well, this one might be more accurate, winning 35-0 before kickoff starts. That's certainly possible, although I would hope the Cowboys offense could score something. I don't expect them to win. Scotty says Buccaneers will win 30-10. I expect the Bucs to win. So
Scotty, where in the United States are you right now?
And Mike says, gents, good evening. Good evening, Mike. Mike, yes, Mike's picks will be coming up because Mike won the All Out scorecard. So
didn't Devin also beat Tim?
Devin did also beat Tim.
I'll be damned.
But he did not beat Mike.
Not enough.
He did not beat him by enough, but he did beat him. So he did.
It's my favorite sound effect, honestly.
It's Ryan.
How you doing?
I'm so good. Just
Scotty's,
real good. We should talk about it.
Scotty's still in Washington.
Oh, okay. He's coming to the East Coast. He's coming to our side.
North Carolina, I believe.
It is beautiful this time of year.
Right.
Just wondering if you were listening to us while traversing.
Recently engaged as well. So congratulations,
He
Scotty.
was? Yeah. Really? Congratulations.
Yeah.
My guy.
And yes, Mike still does have this shiny money in the bank briefcase. Man, Mike's just let's go to Tim since Tim's
Mike
the
is
one who
the
got
Triple H of making these picks. He's just burying everybody.
How you doing?
Tim, how you doing?
I don't know, Mike. How am I doing? I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
No complaints.
Matt,
how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm headed to the beach tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to getting Friday over with and enjoying some grotto, enjoying some saltwater taffy, etc.
very nice. Mama Grotto.
Correct.
That's right. That's the way to go. Intern Mark.
How you doing?
Hi, boys. I'm okay. It's great to see everybody. Can I give a happy birthday shout out to cousin Brian if he's listening?
Yes.
Hey, cousin
Happy
Brian.
birthday, cousin Brian.
Cheers. Mark, are you at a Little Debbie factory tonight?
Yeah, well, that doesn't look like Hottenstein Estates.
It's I'm putting in some late night hours here at the Little Debbie factory. We got to keep those cosmic brownies coming.
You ain't kidding. Tell them they need to
Yeah, I'm
pay
sorry
for
that
better
upset you.
Wi-Fi there too. Apparently, Kevin says he's beaten him 3 times in a row, and on the second scorecard, me and him participated.
Oh my goodness. Devin's definitely keeping track.
Charlie says, "There you go." Did Mark get a little Debbie spot?
there
No,
it
but
is.
we're working on it. What's up, Charlie?
Yeah, we're trying.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, boys.
So, like,
Hi, Charlie.
I gotta say,
All right,
Let it out. Let it out.
Come on, Tim.
when I set my goal is to beat not just one person. I'm here taking everybody. It's real easy to say you're going to be better than one person. But I'm trying to take the field. So congratulations on your headhunters coming after little old me, trying to beat me. Not you guys, because I wash you guys in the blood of Christ every time we do this thing.
Hey!
But-
SummerSlam weekend, I beat everybody in this group.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Hey! I won that one time at Impact.
Right, you're the only person that filled them out for that
You
one
guys
time.
are lucky I even fill out the card at all.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Matt, is it one of your
We're
least
doing
favorite
cards
things
again.
that we do as a podcast? Do you just not enjoy them?
I just forget to do them
Oh,
until
okay.
like 5 minutes beforehand, and then I'm just like,
Well, and then they're already closed.
That's
Right.
Fair. That's fair.
So Mike had 102, Devin had 100, Tim had 98,
And that's all that matters. The other ones don't matter.
I had 89. I didn't
Tim
come in
got
last
beat.
place for this one, so I felt that I was actually fairly proud of myself on that one. That's the bar. That's the bar I've set for myself. Hey, I didn't come in last.
who did come in last? Me?
I just closed it. Whoever Gus Lifton is.
Gus Lufton.
Gus
Guff.
Lifton.
Scruff McGruff.
Gus Lifton 1013. No, Matt, you were right behind me. You finished last out of us. Well, I guess not even really, because Mark didn't fill one out. So Mark was last. He had 0.
Boo.
Boo, boo this
I
man. Boo.
forgot.
Jesus, Mark, we
I
asked for
remembered
one
about-
thing.
One thing.
And this is why we don't pay our intern. This is the reason.
I know. I deserve intern status this week.
Mark, with all that wonderful signage behind you, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Man, there's so many.
There's just
so many
too
good
many.
ones here. There's too many. Oh man, let me think here. I do like the fudge rounds. You can't go wrong with the fudge round.
Fudge rounds are solid.
I feel as though we've had this conversation.
We have.
before.
We have.
Have we?
100%.
About Little Debbie's?
Yeah.
I'm for certain of it. And
Actually,
it was
I'm fairly certain we have too.
and then probably within the month. Like it wasn't even like it
I
was
don't
like,
know if it was that reason, but it.
Time for our monthly snack cake
little
debate.
well, I
It's
mean
like so I've got
We're talking
I've
about
got
food.
the list. I've got the power listing or not the power listing,
Ooh.
but I got the
How
list
about
of all
zebra cakes?
the.
They're pretty
But
good.
this doesn't even look like all of them because like where's the oatmeal cream pie at?
I actually did just buy the Nutty
Yeah.
Buddies last week and
Nutty Buddies is
housed
good.
that case.
Are oatmeal
Oh, no.
cream pies
Oh.
not on the board anymore?
What
They
were
make,
those?
like, they make double oatmeal cream pies, like double stuffed or something, like or XLs. They're really
Yeah.
good.
And
Oh,
what were
so
those
good.
ones we saw at
With the
Walmart
bun.
last week? Was like peanut butter cream pie or something, Ryan?
Oh, that was from Drake. That was the Funny Bones.
The funny bone. No,
Funny bones.
Oh, you're talking about the little peanut butter rounds.
I guess.
Yeah, they're little round guys.
Drake's cakes.
Is that what they're called?
No, Drake is another brand.
Oh, I was like, I thought
Drake
it was-
Works.
I literally
They
thought-
I think they make the ding dongs or the ho hos or something.
I
Yeah,
literally
they make
thought
the
it
big
was.
dogs and the ho-hos.
And the Funny Bones.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to find
fucking
a
know.
list. Little Debbie products.
We got
We should have a Little Debbie
Ruby
draft.
Soho right here, and I'm on day 4 now of singing her song in my head all fucking day.
Yeah, Little Debbie makes peanut butter cream pies right now. I don't
Yeah,
know.
It doesn't show it. There's not a list that just
Is
has
it still-
everything on it.
Is it a peanut butter cookie or is it peanut butter inside the oatmeal? Because
No, it
one
looks
of those is terrible.
it looks like a peanut butter cookie with peanut butter on the inside.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that actually
I'll
sounds
accept that.
I accept that. He says.
that actually sounds like it would be.
Like if it was peanut butter cream inside of oatmeal cookies, you can set
yeah,
that on fire.
No,
Oh,
Man, there's
it's not good.
so.
Ew.
I do like an oatmeal cookie, though. I will say
Oh
that.
yeah,
I will.
absolutely.
sure.
I
Like
hate,
a Subway oatmeal cookie, the best.
I hate oatmeal cookies. I love an oatmeal cream pie.
Okay,
Oatmeal
weird
cream
flex,
pies are
but
good.
okay.
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell
Now,
you.
do you like them standard or do you like them plain?
I like them the way that
You
you
scrape the
open.
cream off of them and just
No,
No, okay.
no. There's no assembly
You eat
required.
it as a full package.
There's no assembly required in an oatmeal cream pie.
Just
I will
wondering.
agree. I will agree with Scotty here. Tasty cakes greater than Little.
Yeah, he's
Debbie.
not
Oh,
wrong.
100%.
Definitely not wrong there. He
He's
says
totally
Carl's
right.
Carl's Jr. is good out here. It's the East. It's
Now,
the
I mean, for the tasty cakes argument, what's your go-to? Like, are you a candy cake or are you a crimpet guy?
candy cake. Candy cake's my number one. The
candy
crimpet's
cakes,
delicious,
Man, that's a tough choice.
especially if you
Like
put.
picking your favorite child.
I couldn't even tell you a tasty cake that I like.
I mean, I don't have kids, but that's not a thing.
Oh,
If
The
you have
little round peanut butter guys, they're delicious.
I guess the
oh,
honey
they're so
bun.
good.
The honey bun.
The what about the crimpet? Crimpets are good.
No,
crimpets are good, but especially if you put the
Butterscotch crimpets.
if you put the peanut butter guys in the fridge, the chocolate gets cold and crispy. It's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic too.
I mean, the
That's even better.
crimpets, if they're butterscotch, are good. If it's the jam-filled ones,
Yeah.
then no.
if you say the
Love it.
jam, if you say the jam ones, I actually want you to stop watching this show. We don't need that
We
kind
will
of.
be happy to lose you as the viewer.
Oh, yeah, we-
I'm little.
We don't need
I'm,
that negativity. And with three
I'm
guys,
little Debbie. I'm little Debbie over tasty cake.
I love your tasty cakes, but you're not because tasty cakes are made in
Cakes like this-
Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, that's
So I
They're like a Philly
regional
thing.
thing.
I can-
That's fair.
Bucks banner has been released. Which part is Scott wrong about, Charlie?
Tasty
Apparently
cakes being greater
about
than
getting
Little Debbie.
engaged.
Oh, but he said something. He said something about Carl's Jr.
No, that's true. Carl's
Your age
Jr. is
guys
like
are-
the left coast Hardee's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a Hardee's
Yeah,
in
aren't they
Pennsylvania?
Same company.
There's one in Oh
There's
shit.
like 3 by my
There's-
house.
Is there really?
There's
There's
one in
none in
Myerstown.
Lancaster.
Straight up 501. When you get to 422, hang a left. It's right there, Myers.
But there's a Twin Kiss right there that I would have to go to.
Yeah, but there's a Hardee's there.
Okay, that's
I mean, all you did was ask me if there was a Hardee's.
I asked.
Oh, Charlie. Well, again, Charlie, you're not originally from PA, so you don't know what's actually right.
What about those donuts you get at like Turkey Hill? They're 6 in a pack with the cream filled.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. You used to bring them to the studio all the time.
I think those are one of the best donuts I've ever had.
Scotty Ace, Lebanon bologna sand. I swear we'll get to talking about wrestling.
That's a hard pass, Scott.
I'm a sweet bologna fan myself.
Yeah,
that's gross bologna.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I had bologna.
But I would imagine to you, bologna is like
Oscar Mayer,
like Oscar Mayer style, right?
Minced bologna.
Minced bologna.
Jim, don't tell me you're one of those guys that take like the sweet bologna and do the cream cheese. Have you ever done that?
Fucking yeah.
And rolled. Oh, that is so foul.
Oh, it's so good. And if you put put some dill pickle
absolutely
in the roll up as well, fantastic.
Oh, so it's sweet bologna,
cream cheese, dill pickle.
Get the fuck out of
It
here!
is so good, man. I'm not even kidding. I am not even kidding.
I'd rather eat a Sweetie meal from McDonald's.
And it's come full circle.
Charlie says he had a fried bologna sandwich the other day. It was amazing. Well, I mean, if you fry anything, I mean, you're.
Oh yeah, fried bologna is good.
Joe says that sweet bologna. Donut holes are the best. I don't know about that.
That's a tough flex. That's tough.
If you're in the what part of Florida are you in, Joe? I forget. But he's at Orange Theory Fitness. If you want to get Joe some business at the Orange Theory Fitness.
I mean, I feel like that's a dig at all of us. We just spent the first 17 minutes of our podcast talking about food. Not fast food this time, but delicious pastry cakes.
A little bit of fast food, but not
snacky cakes.
Boynton Beach, he said. So if go see Joe Lopez at the Boynton Beach Orange Theory Fitness. There you go. You're welcome, Joe.
Boynton Beach is beautiful this time of year.
Just gorgeous. All right, let's
Golden Sands.
Let's start. If I can
Get
find
down here, stop by the Orange County Fitness place. The place is always hopping.
Sushi. Yeah, I like sushi. I know Matt does. Tim, Mark, Ryan, you guys?
No, I'm not a sushi guy.
Not really, no.
No.
I'm sorry if that upsets anybody.
Charlie's headed to dinner. Where are you going to dinner, Charlie? Setting out.
Yeah, it's late, Charlie. That's like Ryan's eating time.
Especially for a Thursday night. Like, I mean,
where's he going?
Weekend, late dinner, weekday. I don't know.
Hey, man, you run into stuff. Like, stuff happens, man. You got to get your meal when you can.
You take your date nights when you can take them.
I suppose.
He just heard there's a Hardee's up the road.
That's right. He's gone.
He said,
"Come on, D, we gotta go."
The Hardee's.
All right, let's go to this though. We are looking at September the 9th in pro wrestling history. We got two birthdays today, both from 1993. Actually, Sarah Logan and Brian Pillman Jr. both born today in 1983 or 93. 1980, the Samoans defeat Tony Garea and Rene Goulet in a tournament final for the WWF World Tag Team titles in Allentown, PA, starting their second title run. The titles had been vacated when Pedro Morales and Bob Backlund defeated the Samoans, but Backlund was unable to defend the tag belts due to being WWF World Heavyweight Champion. 1991, Ric Flair wrestles his first match for the WWF following his departure from WCW the previous July. He defeats Jim Powers at a WWF television taping in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. 1993, Shane Douglas won the ECW heavyweight title via forfeit from Tito Santana. In truth, it was a phantom title change, as the supposed show in Roanoke, Virginia, where Douglas versus Santana was to have taken place, never really existed. 2000, 2002, on an edition of Raw from Ames, Iowa, Rob Van Dam defeats The Big Show, Jeff Hardy, and Chris Jericho in an elimination match to earn a title match with world champion Triple H at Unforgiven. Show was disqualified when the referee caught him with a chair, which Show had actually grabbed from Jericho. Jericho pinned Hardy with a lion salt after shoving Hardy off the top rope. Van Dam then pinned Jericho with the 5-star frog splash. After ramming him into a turnbuckle that Jericho had pulled the cover off.
Did Big Show cry?
What's that?
Did Big Show cry when he got
3 times? In 2012, TNA Wrestling holds their 8th and final No Surrender pay-per-view from the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, in front of 1,100 fans. Show featured 7 matches, and in the main event, Jeff Hardy defeated Bully Ray in the Bound for Glory series final match. And those were the events that occurred. September the 9th in pro wrestling history. So before we get to our Wrestler of the Week standings, I think we should absolutely talk about something we were gonna try to talk about on Monday. And then we got a little bit too excited and plans didn't work out. All Out this past Sunday night. Obviously a pay-per-view that had the attention of the wrestling world and really has kind of shook the wrestling world and kind of flipped things on its side even more than AEW has been doing for a while now. I'll throw it out to you guys. Is there a match? Is there a moment? Is like that anybody wants to talk about first?
I'm trying to do something on my phone. I'm sorry.
Adam Cole, baby.
I don't know why that made me laugh. Sure. Let's start there. Do you want to start there, or Tim? Did you have something different?
Yeah, I have somewhere I want to start.
All right, let's start where Tim wants to start because the end of the show is the end of the show.
Correct. So people are talking about the reaction from a lot of the fans is this is like one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time, right?
I've seen that reaction, yeah.
And what I'm sick of seeing is, have people forgot about WrestleMania 17?
Who would say something like that?
Big Jim.
Or
are you just sick of reading the 3-count Twitter feed?
Or what about Money in the Bank 2011?
To be fair, I did not tweet about Money in the Bank 2011.
Okay.
You thought it though.
I did not. My point is, if you're the person who's like, what about the pay-per-view like 25 years ago that had The Rock and Stone Cold on it? How about that one? Come on, man. You sound like the old dude who's like, football's not the same because they don't run the ball anymore.
That's malarkey.
Football's not football. They throw the ball too much. There's no defense. They can't even check.
Don't be rude.
They can't even check the receivers. No. Instead of trying to compare, like, all people are saying is this is a really great show. And it should be listed on, like, great. What can you name me a pay-per-view in the last 5 years that touches it? You couldn't even tell me a pay-per-view that happened last year, top to bottom, that was exciting. Last year, 2020. That's not even fair. 2019.
I was going to say, you mean the year that had no fans in the crowd?
Yep, 2019.
I mean, I couldn't tell you what good food I had to eat 3 days ago. What, like,
I mean, I think the nearest comparison, and again, it's partial to me because there was WrestleMania 35. I think has been the best WWE show that we've seen in the past. I don't know, since then.
Okay, so that was that 2019 or 2018.
2019.
That was 2019. Okay.
That was the
Right.
last WrestleMania.
Last year was empty, and this year was halfway full. Half empty.
Twice. Half full twice.
But like that's their WrestleMania, so I don't think I think All Out was better than that.
It is tough to say because some could say that All Out is AEW's WrestleMania.
I think it is.
WrestleMania. Like WWE's had a 30+ year head start. Of course,
Right.
WrestleMania 35 is going to
Impact's what Slammiversary is their big show.
I say that All Out is AEW's WrestleMania, but I like put that in quote. Like I don't even necessarily compare it to WrestleMania. It's their biggest show of the year. It's their like I don't know if I even want to say because like WrestleMania and the Raw after Mania, we always consider that like WWE's New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Like I don't even know if that's necessarily the case right now with AEW. I just think it's their biggest show of the year because like I know that All In wasn't technically an AEW show, but it's kind of the thing that like jump started. It was kind of the thing that like jump started the quote unquote AEW movement. So like All Out is their biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Speaking of that, Jim, and we often talk about like moments that changes the trajectory of professional wrestling and like big moments in wrestling. Are we going to look back at that one tweet that said, do you think Ring of Honor could sell out this size stadium as the catalyst that started everything with AEW and ultimately could change the landscape of pro wrestling?
Possibly.
Like, was it that tweet that really got everything in motion?
When it boils down to it, absolutely.
Like that was I don't Meltzer didn't say it. I don't think somebody asked Meltzer that.
I think what's the exact
Meltzer was involved with it somehow, but it's really that's the moment I think that set everything in motion for where we're at today.
Mike had said Mania 30 was pretty damn good. I agree. But go back and look at Mania 30. I don't think Mania 30
Mania 30 had the big moments, but it overall wasn't a great pay-per-view.
First off, it was only like 9 matches.
And in the Silver Dome, brother.
But like the opening match was good. The Lesnar moment was big, but that match was awful.
Duke.
The main event was really good, and of course you had the payoff. But as a show, and like I don't think that the show was really that good at all.
I think 31 was better than 30.
31 was a better pay-per-view. Whether it had
that was play.
It had a big ending as well too. Yes, Tim.
So the tweet came from a guy at the WWE guy _ who asked
Jim's burner account.
Yep, who asked Dave Meltzer if Ring of Honor. He asked if Ring of Honor could sell out an arena with 10,000 seats, something like Madison Square Garden. And Meltzer responded, "Not anytime soon."
Okay.
But then, according to CM Punk, during the media scrum, they sold out the United Center on a rumor.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's you can't really argue. You can't really argue with that. I mean, it was a heavily winked rumor,
but still a rumor. Like,
I mean, yes, it's still a rumor. But
did
like,
AEW really wink that much, or did we just read into everything?
Probably a little of both.
Yeah, I was going to say I think they probably winked more at Daniel or Brian Daniel. I'm gonna unintentionally say Daniel Bryan for a while.
Call him by his real name.
Okay, JR.
Yeah, no problem.
Also,
saying
if anybody's interested, I will have a. Like when the
Ruby Riot
when like Cleveland fans burn the LeBron jerseys, I'm gonna have one of those in my backyard for Daniel Bryan t-shirts this week. No, I'm kidding. But let's see here. Catching up with some comments. Devin agrees with Ryan, who's complaining about the event was too damn long.
35 WrestleMania 35
Yeah.
was too long, or All Out 21?
I think he was referring to WrestleMania 35.
35. I think it went past midnight.
Yeah, 35 was
Eastern.
long.
Yeah.
But it's WrestleMania.
Which again, I'm fine with that. It's WrestleMania. I'd rather it be on one night and be long.
Mike says AEW sometimes feel like PWG on steroids.
Because it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's a fair
Lou says, evening, boys. Welcome back, Lou. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Oh, I'm live on YouTube. We're live on YouTube?
He's on the YouTubes. Yeah, we are live on Twitter, Facebook, and the YouTubes.
And
Look at
Periscope.
And yeah, that's
the Twitters, right?
Yeah, it's the.
They don't call it Periscope anymore, do they?
I mean, it's technically that's what the Twitter Live is a Periscope.
Is it?
You're on Periscope.
Huh.
Down
Like,
Periscope.
31 kind of sucked because the Undertaker entrance was in sunlight and it was hot in San Fran that day.
I mean, I believe it.
I believe that.
There was a tank, though.
There was a tank
that Rusev may or may not have banged Lana in.
He did.
He did.
He did.
Were you there?
I mean,
also Bray
Did you
Wyatt.
see him nut the wall.
I mean, he's got a super flexible wife, so
Thank God.
Thank God. No, and look, like I sent that tweet more in like I wasn't being serious. Like this show was fantastic. Oh, shut up.
Jim, I watched the show with you.
Yes.
As I was putting my shoes on, I heard you mumbling, not as good as 17. I'm just
shit, you heard that?
I'm just saying.
I didn't think your hearing was that good. My bad. No, like I don't know if it's an all-time, like if it's a Mount Rushmore pay-per-view or best ever. I don't. It was a fantastic pay-per-view. It was a great. It was the best pay-per-view in a long time.
It was AEW's best pay-per-view.
Well, easily AEW's best pay-per-view.
Yeah, okay. We can all agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was fantastic. Well,
I feel like a lot of the matches we're going to talk about when we do Wrestler of the Week anyway, because a lot of our Wrestlers of the Week were involved with said pay-per-view. So, I mean, I think it's fair to discuss the moments, like Mark had said.
Yeah, so, I mean...
I think the moments are what we're going to look back on and remember. It was the Daniel Bryan yes moment that everybody thinks of 30. It was, the big surprise return that everybody remembers. So I think the moments are really what sets this pay-per-view apart. And to foreshadow, really puts WWE at a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, and when often I've talked about pro wrestling, I've often said moments, to me anyway, are greater than matches. Now there are great matches that I always hold, on a pedestal, but the moments are the things I think we remember most. And this show, it is the moments to me that made it, an A+ or the best pay-per-view in what. And as I'm not taking away from most of the matches, because I think most of the matches were really good as well. There were some that weren't, but it's these moments. Adam Cole, because we got to the end and the Elite's in there and Kenny Omega's, nobody alive or dead is better than me, or whatever he said, and we all thought that this is when Bryan Danielson comes out. And instead, we got Adam Cole, baby. And he joins his friends in the Elite. Yes, Tim.
Now, did anyone get the reference?
That he died in, he was said alive or dead. He died in being the Elite.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as soon as they said dead, my eyes were, I was like, they're going to bait and switch this is Cole.
Mike got it as well.
Yeah,
but then once we got Cole, I thought, oh, this is badass. They got Cole. We're doing Daniel Bryan, or I'm sorry,
Brian Danielson.
Brian Danielson up in New York.
It's
so
easier...
to get them both was a mind blow to me.
Right.
Yes. I didn't think
that
really
was
cool.
the real. It was going to be one or the other. I still thought Cole had a shot of going back to the WWE before we found out about the manager bullshit. But you're going to get one or the other. But to get them both was, I think, the big surprise of the weekend.
I mean, I think Cole showing up on Sunday was I think you and I both, Ryan, were like, well, holy shit. Like, we were just kind of waiting for Brian Danielson, and we got Cole and then Brian.
I mean, it's nuts for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think the assumption was that we would eventually get Cole in AEW, but I didn't think anyone, I won't say anyone, but it wasn't the one everyone was expecting because of how soon it was.
Yeah. I mean, he was on NXT a couple of weeks. I mean, less than a month ago. So like, the
guy looks like a star. Like, he's going to fit in AEW very well. Tailor-made for AEW.
Right. I mean, he fits in AEW better than he would have fit on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, yes.
Yeah. I have been fine with Adam Cole, the sports entertainer, the pro wrestler acting as a sports entertainer on Raw or SmackDown. Yes.
But he looks really tiny next to Damian Priest. Very small.
Right.
The Miz he'd be fine with. Damian Priest.
Right. Next to, Lashley.
Next to Pat McAfee.
There's a lot of big guys in the WWE.
Pat
More
McAfee,
so than AEW.
who, by the way, sent out the second best tweet of the week.
Yes, he did.
Saying something along the lines of, I would have left too instead of facing
it was
again.
the diff with his face on Adam Cole's body. Yeah.
The number one tweet belonging to Lana, CJ Perry.
Correct.
Saying something along the lines of, when you come home, I'll redeem your nuts.
Yes.
To Miro. Yes. The two tweets of the week.
And I'll just take over. I will wear Miro as a skin suit if I have to.
Gross.
Ew.
Body snatch him.
But I get it.
Heal him.
Whatever we do, what you got to do.
The thing is too, and AEW does this really well. Look back to the last 4 big debuts for AEW. Punk, American Dragon, Adam Cole Bebe, and Ruby Soho. Each debut is connected to a young future star that has not been made yet. Punk immediately goes after Darby Allin.
Mm-hmm.
Both Adam Cole and Brian Danielson connect to
the young up-and-comer Kenny Omega,
Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
Her.
And then Ruby Soho is elevating Thunder Rosa, who she's a big deal, but she's not mainstream.
Okay.
And Britt Baker, who is still on the rise, even though she's at the top.
And still a dentist, too.
Still a dentist.
Rising action here.
And then even so, if you go back to Dynamite, Ruby is connected to Chris Statlander and Riho.
Yep.
So AEW is connecting these big stars to young, up-and-coming, not known talents. And I'm curious who you disagree with of the
because Mike says he agrees with 75%.
It's probably that Britt Baker's a dentist. He probably doesn't know that yet.
Probably.
He probably only thinks she's a wrestler.
He needs to pay attention to comedy.
She's graduated dental school.
No, I think that is a great point, Tim. And I mean, even this past Wednesday, I mean, Punk's next feud or a feud in the chamber is with Team Taz. So, like, I mean, I didn't
Young up
anticipate
and
that.
coming Taz.
Well,
I think that's a great point. And again, I
as
think
long as
we're
he's not, wrestling Russ Vitale's older twin, I think.
hey yo.
I think he'll be fine.
I feel like we're going to bounce all over a lot of our topics here, but I think that's WWE's problem. It doesn't make sense to bring a Goldberg back and have him feuding with just anybody. Like Goldberg comes back to feud for the main picture and the main championship, and that's WWE's recipe. And it's tried and true, and it has worked for them for years. And I think people are just tired of seeing that. Goldberg comes in, wrestles the top guy, leaves. Brock Lesnar's going to do the same thing. Brock Lesnar's not coming back to put over Hook from AEW. I mean, I'm trying to think who the Hook equivalent is in AEW right now. In the W, I just, you know what I mean? Brock's not coming back to put over John Morrison.
Or Dominic.
Who is clearly an up-and-comer.
I was thinking Dominic, yeah.
To me, Hook and Dom are the same.
Okay, that's fair. That's a good one.
I mean, that begs the question: are there young up-and-comers in WWE right now?
I mean, there's some new faces, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily young. Like Damian Priest is a new WWE superstar.
Mm-hmm.
Riddle, who apparently we learned is in his 30s. Like, I thought he was more on the young side, and he's older than I thought. But like there's some new faces, but I currently I don't think there's any real young stars, so to speak, in WWE, and I think that is part of the reason why this shift is happening in with NXT and the Performance Center is going back to a different formula of building new superstars. Because when you're doing your best to just bring in all the big indie names that in some cases have been wrestling for over a decade, by the time they get into NXT and learn the WWE system, and then, are in NXT by the time they get to the main roster, they're not young, so to speak, anymore. So, I think that's where we see this shift with them. But yeah, you're right. There isn't really a WWE equivalent. Mike here says Ruby to him is the exception. He says, I just think anyone who's a fan. Britt is their number one. Thunder Rosa has been her biggest rival. They have been the best part of the women's division. Riho is a former champion. Only woman she's really going to help elevate is Chris Statlander.
And I don't necessarily agree with that, because even though Riho was the first world champion for the women, no one knows who Riho is.
Right. Unless you're an AEW fan.
Or you're a Japanese women's wrestling fan. Like, it's not so much elevation as it is connecting a set of eyes, or connecting a person who everyone has seen be on the big stage, who is made to be a big deal, and connecting them to people immediately as peers. Connecting to a Riho, to a Chris Statlander, to Thunder Rosa, and to Britt Baker, and in turn connect to Rebel and Jamie Hayter.
Reba?
Not Reba.
Mm.
Thank you for that.
Reba. I think that it's not on the same level as Bryan Danielson or Adam Cole or CM Punk, but to say that, like, I mean, Ruby is really young. Like, Ruby,
she's going
right
to
side of 30.
Probably. I mean, she's going to elevate that division.
I bet she's like 35.
But
think
she's
she
going to
was that
elevate
young.
that division, period, because of
She is 30.
Yep.
Oops,
On
sorry, Ruby.
91.
That's my bad.
So she's 30, which in different times, in different eras, 30 is very old for a women's wrestler.
right.
But
not so
now
much
30
anymore.
is the right side of 30.
30 is the right side of 30. Yes.
30 is the right side of 30. Yes.
What segment are we at? Just so I know.
The first.
Still the first one.
Are we talking about why AEW is succeeding, or are we still recapping the pay-per-view,
we're
or
talking
is it
about
all
All
bled
Out.
together?
Well,
they merge.
It's all encompassing.
Yeah, I feel like this episode is just like one long episode that I'm going to attempt to break up into segments later.
Jim will
I don't
squeeze
want
the
you to do that.
WWE stuff in here and there just to make sure that it gets discussed, but it's basically an AEW episode.
Right. Remember that time they brought the zombies?
No, I don't. What
that got a 0. Jim, did
zombie.
any matches get a 0 on this AEW card?
They did not. They
I'll
did
be
not.
damned.
There was
What
a
did you
couple.
grade the Big Show match out of curiosity?
That was a D, I believe.
Okay. I mean, it was short.
Yeah, it was a
got
D.
over with quickly.
That was a D. Jericho MJF was a D plus.
Really?
Yeah. Everything else.
I thought their labor match, Labor 5, was better than their pay-per-view match.
Yeah, this one felt labored.
That's fair. That's
This
fair.
one felt labored.
There was really only 2 bad, or not even bad, but like 2 down matches on the pay-per-view.
It was those two.
Yeah.
I mean, the Battle Royal was a Battle Royal. You got a great debut and she got the win, got the big win. The Moxley Kojima match, I mean, it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a bad match. It's not for me. Like match grade wise, I think I had the show at like a B plus or a B, but like with the moments, it's an A plus. Like, and that's where because I think there was one of the WWE pay-per-views this summer. I was like, match wise it was here, but like moment it felt here. So like that's where just if I just go off the match grade, that's where I meant moments made this greater. And that is 100% accurate to me.
What did you grade the Punk match?
Let me find it.
I don't think that was a great match. I
had a B minus.
I thought it was well paced and what it should have been.
Yeah.
You didn't want to rush and fuck something up, but
Yeah.
I think that match was more of a moment than it was a match.
Yeah, it was the match itself. I had it a B minus. Not horrible, but it wasn't
I felt
anything.
I felt like I
Yes,
saw
Mark?
that match before somewhere. I felt like
You at least saw parts of it. You at least saw parts of it.
Bret Hart doing the coffin drop in the corner.
What has 16 and 16 legs?
Oh no!
I think I know.
The night shift at the night and day diner. That's coming from Charlie.
I know you ain't talking about BBJ.
No, she's probably not working tonight.
It's Judy there. You got to ask
She's
around.
got
Ask for
32
Judy.
As for Judy, she's got 32 teeth.
So
Big old
what
Daisy.
What did you have?
apron. She's got a big apron for tips.
What did you have?
Is that tips with a P?
Yeah, it was tips. Judy's got that. She's a big apron. To carry her
Mark
big
or
tips.
Tim, keep asking your question.
What did you have the tag team title match at?
Mark, what's your favorite part about her apron? Let's get him going on the apron. Can you describe the apron for me?
Probably. Well, it's got the pockets in the front. Then you take those strings, you tie them in the back of that nice little bow. And that little loop goes around the neck.
We'll just let him go.
Is this payback for the Draws joke last week?
No.
Like
Payback would be me saying Shane McMahon.
The best in the world.
Shane McMahon!
I
just did my 2022 taxes.
Tim, were you talking about the steel cage match?
Yes.
The tag team? Where the Young Bucks lost?
Yeah.
That was an A+.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
That's on my match.
Talking about the steel cage match at GCW that was really just Hell in a Cell? Or I'm sorry, really just
Nope, you already blew it.
I fucked it up. Fuck me. Don't even do it.
He doesn't get it.
Don't even do it.
No.
Turn it off. I don't want to hear it. I fucked myself. I fucked myself. Stop! Ryan screwed Ryan. God damn it.
How did you mess that up?
I fucking had it on a silver tray.
You sure did.
Silver tray.
God damn it. A beautiful silver tray. Had doilies on it. Fucking dropped it.
Mucked it all up.
Damn it.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Yeah, that's on my match of the year list. Absolutely. That might be my match of the year. When it's all said and done.
It's the match of the year so far. I think.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of one better. Off the top of my head. Let's check in on Mark. Let's see how Mark's doing.
So I said, if I don't want jelly, I'd like to have Palmer's all fruit. So BBJ went back and found some back there. There's the orange label.
Good. And I mean this. I was talking to EJ after the pay-per-view on Take 3 Wrestling, and I should say from, not on, but no, he and I were just texting after the show, and he was like, Adam Cole's the biggest. The biggest acquisition of the night, or the biggest debut of the month, or whatever. And I said, in the long run, I agree. I mean, in the long run, out of Punk, Bryan, and Adam Cole, Bebe, Cole has like the bigger upside, the longer career. But I think that Daniel Bryan, at least right now, feels like the bigger hit to WWE to me.
I think where that hit comes from is the fact that, so comparing all four together, Ruby mentioned that she, like, where she is right now is the pinnacle of her wrestling career.
Mm-hmm.
And that Adam Cole is here. He in his stance is it comes from a place of like not bitterness, but there's like definitely want to stick it to WWE.
Oh, is Mark looks like he's tuckering out.
Oh, Mark, how we doing?
He just uncorked a big ass yawn.
I was just thinking about when I told BBJ that I got my peaches down in Georgia. So good. Such sweet peaches.
Good. That's a good story, Mark.
Told me they were from.
I'm glad you told.
The vendor at Roots said they came directly from Georgia. So why would I wouldn't. I have no reason to not believe.
You should.
What a Roots country market vendor tells me. So,
Mark, how many concerts did you go to this past week?
Brian, why do you keep doing this?
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Just answer this.
Well,
this is a serious
I'm
question.
glad you asked.
No, I'm not asking. I'm not asking details.
from
How
LA?
many concerts did you go to?
Oh, there was Made in America.
Number.
Was in Philly.
Pick a number.
Oh, just the number. You're talking concert, not artist. So,
Concerts.
One.
How many wrestling shows did you watch this past week?
From start to finish?
You cross the tip. Measure it in pizza slices for me.
None.
At least he's honest, man. That's all we can ask for.
I have to come here
Not
live
from
like
start
I
to
watched a
finish.
ton of wrestling.
Now,
Did you spend more hours at a concert or more hours watching wrestling?
He's an intern. How do we expect?
Oh.
Why are we expecting
Yeah.
him to have such a high standard?
I'm not.
I'm
There
not.
was more hours at the concert. At the concert for sure.
You want to go to
I really
Hostas
wish I
this
could have taken
weekend?
my super
Brian,
box
what
to the
is
concert.
wrong with you?
Man,
So
I'll
the
tell
point
you,
I'm
Hawkins
trying
is
to
where your
make-
family
Mark,
wants to get.
let's.
I wouldn't mind going. I'd like to give the one in Hummelstown another try.
Good. Report on that on the Patreon. Tim, you were trying to say.
Bryan Danielson, his point was, I love the WWE, and yet I still left. It doesn't come from a place of sour grapes. It doesn't come from a place of they screwed me. It doesn't come from a place where I was sick, that I couldn't get better, that I didn't get to do pro wrestling. It's like, I love the WWE. And in spite of how much I loved my time there, I'm still choosing to leave because everyone is saying how great this place is, and I want to see it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna do more than an Adam Cole or a CM Punk or anyone else.
I mean, Cole said something, along the lines of this, it wasn't really anything. There wasn't any like negative feeling towards WWE, but he knew the environment, he knew the environment.
In the scrum or on the mic?
In the scrum.
The scrum, It was very much like the Twitch meant a lot to me, right? Like that
Sure.
was his,
right.
And I just didn't want to give that up because I feel like I was really touching people, which and really is what pro wrestling should be about.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the Twitch thing, we've talked about that. It's such a weird hard stance that the WWE is taking for whatever reason. But my point to why I feel like Daniel Bryan, at least right now, and that does play into it, but you're looking at the guy who's the biggest moment or whatever of like the network era since the network launch, when you're watching more pay-per-views than you used to, generally speaking. The Yes Movement and Daniel Bryan at the end of WrestleMania 30 to me is arguably the best moment of the last 7.5 years of WWE. There's been other great moments, but to me, that whole that time from that SummerSlam to that WrestleMania and the crowning moment of that, I think is tops. So that guy, and a guy who was literally just in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania, 6 months ago? Hadn't been seen since. And the next time you see him in a wrestling company, he's over there? That's... and that doesn't take anything away from Adam Cole. And that doesn't take anything away from NXT. But NXT TakeOver isn't WrestleMania. You can main event every TakeOver. It's not the main event of WrestleMania. That to me is bigger. To me, that is something bigger right now. Now, like I said, Cole may very well likely go on to have the bigger career in AEW in terms of titles, things like that. But right now, to me, that's the one that hurts WWE more.
I think Adam Cole is the cooler one right now. The boom. He can bring his entire shtick, the Adam Cole baby, right on over to AEW. But Jim, I think to your point, on Monday, I believe it was during the Charlotte match, maybe Charlotte was talking, the WWE crowd broke into a yes chant, and now all of a sudden that's the AEW guy's gimmick.
Right.
That's now no longer a WWE thing. That is Bryan Danielson in AEW and his shtick.
Yeah.
That now no longer, will continue to happen. No different if Austin left and the what's.
Sure.
But every time you hear that, yes, 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 somewhere in the back of your head, you're going to go, AEW.
Yeah. Mike says Cole leaving also sucks because he was such an awesome party of up, down, down with Wood, Cesaro, and Tyler Breeze. Yeah. It's...
And that's the part That's the part that I hate the most about it.
And up, up, down, down is a WWE thing, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, what is the chances that Forbidden Door could be swung open? And I hate saying that, but we saw Jericho on Austin's thing. Is there not a reason that still couldn't happen occasionally?
There isn't.
If the WWE gets out of their own way.
Exactly.
I was going to say, Vince would have to sell the company or die, I think. I think Vince's pettiness holds that back from happening.
Is it even Vince? Like, is it Vince? Is it the other Khan? Like, you know what? Like, is that a business decision that Vince is even making right now?
Do you think it's more who then?
It's
more on Doug?
Dr. Khan from Salute Your Shorts.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it obviously could be Vince. I mean, Vince is Vince. When
are we bringing in this Mick Foley thing? Because that plays into everything that we're talking about, and then some. Is that?
We'll get to because we're coming up near the break. So let's do this part of it. We'll hit the break, and then we'll get into like AEW's rise or whatever. And once we get through Wrestler of the Week, all right. But I threw out because I almost forgot to do one. Was the question of the week,
the 3 count question of the week.
But what was your favorite match from this past Sunday? AEW All Out. Mine fairly easily. It's the A+. It's the match of the year. It is the Lucha Bros defeating the Young Schmucks in the steel cage, new tag champion. Anybody want to go next?
My favorite match is with Alicia Fox.
Mine was the same. The tag match.
Yeah, absolutely the tag match.
Yes.
Same. What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
I would have to say my favorite match was the opener of Miro and Eddie Kingston. Man, what a great story. Such a great match. Not going to be remembered for how good it was because of everything else that came across with that event.
Sure. Intern Mark, how about you?
Tag match with the Young Does and the Lucha Boys. They were in that solid or salad steel cage.
Salad.
15 feet high. Solid steel. Romaine lettuce was everywhere.
Devin says Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks in the solid. He says solid steel.
It was good.
I'm pretty sure it was salad.
Salad.
Definitely salad. It's all right, Devin. It's all right. We won't hold it against you, bud.
Mistakes.
All right, let's why don't we pause here? We'll go we'll hear from our networks and then we will come back. We'll keep kind of rolling on this similar theme. Stick with us. 3 Count Thursday live.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis on all things sports. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, subscribe to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports, and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Are you looking for a place to listen to your favorite music and sports? Look no further. WLSN, the Lieb Sports and Music Network, is a web-based music and sports network. Our network was created to provide authentic, high-energy entertainment through live streaming to a national audience. We play popular music while hosting podcasts from all over the world. Curious? Check us out on the web at liebsports.com. That's LEEIB sports.com. Or find us on the TuneIn Radio app. Got Alexa? Just say, Alexa, play WLSN on TuneIn. WLSN is America's #1 blog-themed sports and music network.
Welcome back, 3 Count Thursday. We are live, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Make sure if you are with us live, give it a like and a share wherever you're watching us. People can get in here and react with us. You can react with us live and as the night goes on. 7-7 in the NFL game. I don't think I can say much more. I feel like the NFL has their copyright hounds everywhere.
They'll be all over us.
So there's 2 teams playing. There's a team wearing white jerseys, team wearing blue jerseys, and they are both tied at 7. I think we're safe there then. I mean, Matt, you kind of alluded to it and said it yourself. Like the wrestler of the week standings are kind of going along with the similar theme of the week. So let's jump right into those.
Since John Moxley, Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These 5 guys on Facebook are gonna take a hard look. 3 Count Thursday brings to you the wrestler on the week.
Week number 22 of the wrestler of the week. Is there anyone that wants to kick us off this week?
I think they're all going to be very similar. Lucha Bros #1. Tag team champions. They beat the Young Bucks. Maybe match of the year. Maybe. We don't know. #2, Adam Cole. What a surprise debut. Loved it. I was definitely expecting Bryan Danielson. But, that was the moment that I really felt a rush. I felt the smile on my face. It was a really cool moment. And #3, the destination is known. Ruby Soho, #3 on my list. Can't get that song out of my head.
It is an earworm, I believe, is what they call it.
Damn you, Rancid.
Go ahead and sing
it. Intern Mark, why don't you go next?
All right, well, should I start at 1 or 3?
However you want to do it, Mark.
Okay, how about #1? I have the Lucha Brothers. They're the new AEW Tag Team Champions, boys and girls. Then we have John Moxley. He beat that Zack Ryder for that Game Changer title. That was exciting. And then I put down Ruby Riott. That was her name back in WWF. She's Ruby Soho now, where the big girls play. Sassafras. Barbecue sauce.
Salsa.
It's an AEW theme for me. Salsa.
Yeah.
That was
Matt.
Like a lot.
Matt, you want to go?
Sure, I'll follow that up. So I had John Moxley at #1. I did think the Lucha Bros match was better, but John Moxley, I think, had the bigger week in regards to his title win at GCW, as well as his win at All Out and the feud that we have coming up. So overall, best week goes to Moxley. #2, the Lucha Bros finally taking down the Young Bucks. Didn't know if they would have it in them or not, but it all worked out well. And then that was a big swig of something there, Mark.
I thought it was like a Jack Daniels
bottle of like Johnny Walker. #3, Ruby Soho, the debut and the winning of the event to get the #1 contendership. It was a toss-up between her and Britt Baker, but I lean towards the moment as well as the win.
There you go. I'll go ahead with mine.
And of course, John Moxley, what you said, that GCW show with the Helen Up. God damn it, I did it again.
Yep. Nope.
God damn it. Nope. Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
My number 3, like I said, if we're talking moments, I know he didn't have a match, but Bryan Danielson showing up when we thought we got swerved, but we didn't anyway, making a huge impact there. Number 2, Jon Moxley, 2 big wins, actually 3 big wins and one last night as well. And then number 1, I mean, you finally end the reign of the Young Bucks. I have a hard time not putting you at number 1. So the Lucha Bros are my number 1. Hey, Tim, you want to read Mike's?
Sure, I'd love to read Mike's. So Mike has in a 3-win weekend, picking up a victory for the GCW World Title over Matt Cardona at an event that had a match that looked very similar to War Games.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at a guy's.
It's no fun when you say
War Games! War Games! War Games!
I saw a screenshot. It almost made me throw up. A guy for the Buccaneers broke his arm, and there's a still shot where you can literally see the elbow bone coming through the skin. I don't like it. I don't like that.
But then Moxley beating up Bread Dad and then beating up Murder Grandpa in AEW is very awesome. Satoshi Kojima and Minoru Suzuki. At number 2, what more can be said about the Lucha Bros? Rey Fenix, Penta El Zero M, winning the AEW World Tag Team titles. And then Ruby Soho, a 2-win week for her. Big debut in the Casino Battle Royale, and then picking up a victory over Jamie Hayter.
Her.
Where does barbecue sauce? Main event mustard back in stock.
Where does that leave us for the week, Tim?
So for the week, the Lucha Bros stand atop the standings for week number 22, with a very good mix of first and second place votes across the board. On the other side of that coin, Jon Moxley standing at second. And then third, Ruby Soho, and fourth, Adam Cole. Hey, Bay.
Old Bay.
Which takes us to the
Hold
top.
on. Before we get to the Mike asked, how close were his picks to what yours would have been?
So I actually did make picks. I just forgot that I didn't have picks this week.
Mike, you could have put Duke the Dumpster Drozy, and you gave him real solid picks,
which I appreciate. Thank you.
Real solid.
You
put Duke number 5. He's making the list at the end of the year. You put him as your number 1. Adam Bomb, it's a choice. Chronic in the tag team.
Stupid idiot. Look how we both just knew Chronic was coming.
It was coming.
So my picks is actually very much the same, except I had the Lucha Bros at 1, Mox at 2, and Ruby Soho at 3.
All right.
Now, Tim, you've worked with Ruby, correct? Before?
No, I've not.
Oh, you have not? Oh, okay. I thought you have.
No.
She's a
I've
real
only
gem to
been a
work
mere
with.
fan.
Did not know that.
Mike says he's a man of honor. Tim and I have already shared the code of honor.
That's right. Code of honor.
Well, that's bullshit.
So
for the year,
I'll tell you this.
Go ahead.
No, I don't even want to say it. Nope. I don't want to speak it to existence.
There we
I'm
go.
going to swallow that back down.
So,
oh Jesus Christ!
For the wrestler of the year standings, we're now at a top 10, and worming his way into the top 10, tied for 6th with Bianca Belair, Karrion Kross, Camille, is that Cincinnati boy Jon Moxley at 17 points. Other than that, everything else stays the same. While the PW Insider or PW Illustrated has Kenny Omega above Roman Reigns for some ungodly reason, Roman Reigns still sits atop our Wrestler of the Year standings, with Christian Cage rounding out the top 10.
There we go.
Well, I will name Kenny Omega as my wrestler of the week for the rest of the year. Get him that point.
Since John Moxley, Cesaro, way before Gargano, there was Savage and Roddy, and Saturdays on NBC. These 5 guys on Facebook are gonna take the hard look. Recount Thursday brings to you the wrestler on the week.
I love that Mark's audio is clearly delayed. He was lip syncing 3 notes behind.
Okay, so Ryan and I, when we were watching the pay-per-view, we were kind of having a discussion.
I thought you were going to say how we were kind of spooning, but
no. These are the types of things you're not supposed to reveal on the podcast.
We already do.
Ain't no fucking couch holding that much weight.
That's the fucking truth. The floor is lucky enough to hold that much weight. But
good thing Walter wasn't
one. I had kind of said, and this was before Adam Cole debuted, baby, that. And it's not exactly the same way, but Punk and Bryan kind of had a feel of almost like Hall and Nash, like going to WCW. Like, yes, it's different because they weren't Bryan just wasn't a couple months ago, but Punk hasn't been in the WWE for 7 years, but like it did kind of have that feel to it of these 2 big recognizable faces that have gone to this different company, but it was like who would be like when we're talking about like the NWO and what really kind of turned the tide, like who was the third man, and then Adam Cole debuts, and like I think we both looked at each other and was like, there's your third man. So. And Ryan, there was something that you were kind of talking about that I was like, let's kind of hold this for the podcast. Like what exactly, if you remember, because it's been a long few days, like what exactly was what you were talking about?
Yeah, what I was talking about is I didn't understand how Papa John's can sell a small pizza and just fold it in half and call it a goddamn papadilla.
Well, because that's it's like a quesadilla, but it's Papa John's pizza.
I don't really know what I don't remember. It was something about the nostalgia piece of it, I believe. Was that what it was? How
well, and I think
AEW clearly has the hot hand, clearly, and I think it goes to what Mick Foley was saying. But AEW, I think, wins at every turn here. We have AEW that can bring in somebody like Adam Cole with his Adam Cole gimmick and bring him and slide him right in. You can have somebody with a slight modification to his name, Bryan Danielson, which he wrestled for or as in Ring of Honor and prior to the WWE.
Sure.
You can bring in all of these talents that have that independent Ring of Honor name that you're familiar with. They bring them in as that name, whether they went through the WWE or not. So they have this name recognition that you're used to. The Viking Raiders, if they leave and go to AEW, they're going over as War Machine. You know them. God damn it. I barely remember what the fuck we talked about on Sunday, and you're giving sound effects for me. And I feel like I'm rambling.
When people say shit in the middle of
Matt, nobody asked you. It's the fucking worst.
It was something kind of along the lines of like you
even close.
You had specifically mentioned AEW capturing the key demo.
Oh, yeah, these are guys that we all watched when we were in the 7 years ago. That's us. That's our generation of wrestling fans. So to see CM Punk back, something I never thought we would see, I'm tuning in. I have a guy at work, we'll call him Lamps, who doesn't watch wrestling at all, but bought the pay-per-view because CM Punk is back.
Lance?
Lamp.
Lamps, like lights.
Lamps.
I thought we only had one.
lamps.
I've only had one. One lamp.
We only had one.
He's a bright man.
But here's a guy who, just because he's heard of a name, CM Punk, a name that he 7 years ago, 10 years ago, remembers watching wrestling and hearing, oh, I like that CM Punk guy. He was the voice of the voiceless. He was like somebody I could believe in. Back. I'm going to tune in. $50 out of his hands like that because of that name recognition.
Yeah. And I mean, I have seen tweets from people that have said, you know, I haven't watched wrestling since CM Punk left WWE. You know, like there are people that said, you know, I fell out of love of wrestling over the last couple of years because it just hasn't been exciting to watch. I started watching AEW when Punk debuted, and I'm bought into it. Like,
I don't fully believe that. Oh, the day after CM Punk left, I stopped watching the WWE. That say you aged out of it a little bit. That's fine.
Well,
and maybe it wasn't boring.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't like, oh, I heard CM Punk didn't show up to Raw tonight, so I'm not watching. But like, you know, not long after that, when you kind of, you know, if you heard the podcast, like, because if you were a Punk fan, you heard the podcast, you heard his about his like lawsuits against the WWE and things like that, and you went, there's probably some people who are like, why am I going to support this fucking company if they're going to treat people like that? So there probably was some people that, yeah, I highly doubt it was like, oh, Punk didn't show up to Raw tonight, done. Like, but there are probably people who in the last 7.5 years have fallen out of it, and that may have been kind of a catalyst for the beginning of a change for people. But I'd say probably more so in the last couple of years, like as the WWE product has done what the WWE product has done, you know, that they just go, you know, maybe this just isn't for me. I mean, we've talked about those sort of things. So like if AEW brings in CM Punk and like Sting is there, and you know, now Bryan Danielson is there, and you have Adam Cole going back, like there is an excitement.
But you also have the wrestling where it's okay to say shit on TV and give the middle finger on TV, and it's a slightly more edgy product than what the WWE has become. Oh, I do kind of remember this. This has a bit of, and I'm not saying it's the Attitude Era, but it has a bit of attitude the way it is being presented that right now Raw and SmackDown doesn't have.
Right, like
except on Raw. Because Charlotte seemed a little bit more, she was crotch chopping and said like, I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah,
that seems very new.
That Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, whatever's going on there, if it's a work, if it's a shoot, if it's a work shoot, I don't know what's going on, but that was one of the most, like last week it got a lot of attention. This week it was one of the most, it was maybe the most interesting part of Raw because I didn't know what the fuck I was watching.
Do you think we're going to get a Charlotte Eat It shirt?
I mean, probably not.
No, probably not. Okay.
Probably not. So. But I guess crazier things have happened, I suppose.
We've had some pretty bad shirts from the women's division in the past. There's been a lot.
You know, there's been a lot of bad shirts
division.
on WWE's side. There's also a lot of bad shirts on shop.aew/prowrestlingtees.com.
There's a where there is no bad shirts.
You just had to throw that one in
there's a lot of great ones on there too. Don't get me wrong. But like, there's just bad wrestling shirts going around, except on tpublic.com/users/3count Thursday.
What I don't like about the AEW shirts and Pro Wrestling Tees is just the material they use. It's so like, I don't even know the word to describe. It's like wearing sandpaper.
Yeah, they're definitely like basic bitch T-shirts with like just like the heaviest of like the heaviest of printing. And it also
they use like the scratchy Gildan shirts.
Yeah. It also takes you like 47 weeks to get the shirt after printing. After order. It's like I get it, you know, they got a lot of orders going on, but like it takes a while.
Tim, or Matt, you just ordered from Teespring though, right?
I did. Yes.
When was this, Sunday? And they've already
TeePublic.
shipped out?
You mean tpublic.com
tpublic.com
/3 Can Thursday.
Yeah, I placed the order on Sunday, and I got the email that it would shipped on Tuesday. So
that's quick.
That's awesome.
Also, I don't know if I told you this, but I spent maybe an hour looking for our store on Teespring and could not find it. Finally went back in the group chat, and I was like, that's it.
I did the same. I had to go back in the group chat.
Was not proud of myself.
Mark, you were able to place an order on tpublic.com, right?
Well, it didn't go so well. Several times.
It worked great on my laptop. I don't know how you ordered, Matt. Laptop worked fine.
I used my phone, and it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
use my phone.
Mark, did you call the 1-800 number?
Well, yeah. What were you using, Mark?
Well, I sent a letter with a check.
Did you include the UPC symbols from the boxes of cereal?
I did. I got a discount.
Oh, well, then I don't know.
But like, I put it like I thought it. I put it on the rundown sheet for like the YouTube and stuff, and I said like AEW is kind of like and I kind of tied it to the outsiders and the third man. Like AEW right now has a WCW feel to it, but I mean that in like the best way possible. Like when WCW was on that rise, like at the start of the war, and I'm not implying that there's like a war thing, like because I don't think that's necessarily the case. But like when WCW was on that rise, it's like, holy shit, I need to watch over here. I need to watch what's going on over here. Like that's what it feels like with AEW. Like in the last week, in our wrestling week, like starting Thursday running through Wednesday, there's one wrestling show that I watched from start to finish, and that was AEW Dynamite. And to me, it's been that way for weeks now. Like I'm still in for like I have Raw on the TV. I'm not really like I don't pay attention to it. Like I have to watch this. Like it's on, but I'm not
have to though.
Like you don't have to, but like it's on the TV, but I'm doing other things. Like if I have to go downstairs and do laundry, I don't care. If I'm working on something podcast related, I'm not necessarily paying attention to it. Dynamite, I'm paying attention to. SmackDown, I'll watch sometimes. If I don't, I catch the Hulu or the YouTube clips. I haven't watched NXT since TakeOver because now I will watch it this coming week with the new NXT debuting. But like,
in the way,
Dynamite is the show that gets my full attention, and because they've given me, they've told me you need to pay attention. This show's important. There's not like Raw's not doing that. NXT hasn't done that in a couple weeks. Like it's AEW. I mean, SmackDown's got Roman. I mean, but AEW's the show. I want to see what's happening there. 2020 and 2021 are fucking nuts. That's all I got.
Wild times. I mean, it almost feels car crash TV that you don't want to miss something. You don't want to look away. You don't want to miss it because you don't know what's going to happen. And you didn't know what was going to happen on Raw. But what happened on Raw ultimately has not a ton of bearing in the scheme of professional wrestling other than Bob Lashley now gets a tag team shot.
Bob.
And they broke up the match. They bookend the show. And I get there was the interference.
I really hate that.
I feel like that defeats the purpose of the whole turmoil match. You draw number one, it's unlucky you got to run the gauntlet. It's kind of the shit thing about being number one.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it didn't really matter. There he is.
Bobby! The one thing I would change about the naming convention of Punk and Danielson being Hall and Nash and Cole being the third man is, I don't think that is the analogy that needs to be played here. The analogy is Punk and Danielson are Hulk and Randy Savage coming over from the WWF, which makes Adam Cole Lex Luger. First Nitro, everybody thought he was under contract with the WWF. He walks out on WCW television, and they like, why is he here? He's not supposed to be here. Hall and Nash and the NWO are yet to come.
Ooh. Okay.
Who's going to be the next people who jump ship? And there's a name that's floating around now. There's a whole bunch of rumors going around about a person's contract who signed a 5-year deal 4.5 years ago. And come January 2022, there might be a person who just changed their Twitter nickname from first name, last name to just first name. And he might have tweeted something with coordinates that point to a national landmark somewhere in North or South Dakota with 4 people's heads on it. And if he comes,
that's your third time saying the word "come" in like a minute. I'm counting. I'm keeping track of it. That is your third "come."
What do you want me to say?
I don't know. Goes.
Why is Tim coming?
I'm just,
what do you want me to say?
I have a cum counter over here. You are at 3.
Well,
keep going.
I can't help it.
No wonder Mrs. Tim's always smiling.
And so I think that is the more fair analogy. That's Hogan and Savage and Luger, with more to come. There's still the comparison is still there. It's the demographic. The fans of Hulk and Randy, they go and leave and go to WCW. WCW starts trending upwards. WCW operates out of the red. Mm-hmm. They make their first dollar. After that, they progress forward. To say though this isn't like seismic, I did research on. I did some. I don't want to say. I did research like some other people do research nowadays in 2021. I opened up Google and I typed in something and I pulled up an article, and it kind of makes sense. So I'm gonna read part of it. It's from whatculture.com about All Out 2021. It's expected to break, quote, all pay-per-view records. Someone had tweeted at Dave Meltzer, how many buys did All Out do? Meltzer reports, quote, awaiting a concise number, but definitely more than any non-WWE pay-per-view in 22 years and 4 months.
But I don't think there's any mystery to AEW is bigger than Impact / TNA or Ring of Honor or any of that.
Well,
I don't think that's a mystery.
22 years goes into WCW territory.
Oh, so it did better than Greed when the company was dying. Like how far back into?
Oh, give him the W, Jim.
Like
22 years, 4 months. That would have been May 2000.
When did WCW officially die?
March 2001.
So it'd be Greed and New Blood Rising.
Spin. I'm not denying that it's impressive. It is impressive. But that's such a weird way to put it. It is a weird way to put it. Like, yes, AEW is undeniably the biggest company besides the WWE since WCW wasn't bigger than WWE. That's not news, Dave. Like,
right, but then
but it's not fake either, though, Jim.
It's not.
Like, that is a legitimate statistic. That is a real stat.
Legitimate statistic.
To play devil's advocate, like, I know that you don't mean it to come off like this, but it's almost sounding like AEW pulling the biggest non-WWE pay-per-view in 22 years isn't a big deal.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying at all. It is a big deal.
I can see where it can come off like that because you keep mentioning like, oh, well, of course it's bigger than Impact or the dying days of WCW. And you list reasons why it should instead of saying, hey, this is cool.
No, it is fantastic. It is cool. And like I've been saying, I watch AEW more loyally probably right now than I watch the WWE. But like,
did you know NWA is putting on pay-per-view?
But like saying
300 buys.
NWA World Champion for
saying
scorecards.
Like, my grass is greener in July than it is in the months November, December, and January. Like, isn't news either. Like, isn't surprising news either. Like, is it impressive if my grass is green in July? Sure, I didn't kill it, but like, you know, and I know I'm being overly obtuse or whatever. It is impressive, and it is something that AEW should 100% be proud of. And I think it's only going to get bigger. Like, you know, I know that I think I saw today that AEW Dynamite this week had a higher demo number than Monday Night Raw. Like, I still don't, and maybe I don't understand the TV ratings business, but I don't know if that is like necessarily a fair comparison because they're on different nights, but in terms of Raw number, it was a higher demo number for Dynamite than Raw this week. That is also significant. Like, that's also great for AEW.
I mean, the demo number is strictly targeting those advertisers, correct?
Kicker is fucking awful. Sorry.
What was that?
The Cowboys kicker is fucking terrible.
You know what? It happens, Jim.
It does.
And now the NFL is going to shut us down.
Probably. I did say the Cowboys. Devin said if a certain person goes to AEW, I think we're referring to Kevin Steen. He may not be watching WWE as much as he normally would.
I mean, how often is Kevin Steen on WWE?
I've never seen Kevin Steen on WWE. That's a great point, Matt. Mike says, side question. When we talk about the 4 signings of the last few weeks, has the signing of Malachi Black seemed kind of minor league? I wouldn't say minor league, but like, and I don't even want to necessarily say that like Malachi's been like feels forgotten because now he's getting his big rematch with Cody coming up at Arthur Ashe, but like Malachi Black went from being either like opening or closing the shows to, now it was Punk opened and why did Tim go disappear? And like, Brian closed this week. So like I said like the thing I find one of the most interesting things with the people who have been recently signed, the people who are rumored to have signed, and we're coming up on that near 3-year mark to the original AEW contracts. Who's going to re-sign? Who's not going to re-sign? And things like that. Like the very interesting things over the next 6 to 10 months or whatever or beyond is how all of these parts are going to fit in and how they're all going to be used quote unquote properly. Like, I'm very intrigued to see how they handle a roster with ever growing stars, like big stars. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's pushed the Malachi Black signing in the background, but I would certainly say that this makes the roster and roster management much more interesting.
I don't think you can compare anybody signing to CM Punk. It was 7 years in the making.
No.
Mariachi Black and Ruby Soho were both released from their contract. Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole's contracts expire, so there's some slight differences there. They weren't actually released. Mariachi Black was like right in the middle of a push coming back on SmackDown. It was very bizarre when he left. He wasn't at the height of his powers. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's still a important part of the equation, but I don't think he fits into the outsiders talk.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Tim hit the nail on the head, calling each player who they were and then saying the NWO is still coming.
Yeah.
In the future. I think you're absolutely right. The problem is we saw what happened when the NWO got too big. Do we have to worry about that with the Elite?
No. Because if Cody is any sort of, well, let me put it this way. The mindset from 1996-97 and the mindset of 2021 feels a little different. When Hogan goes to WCW, he's trying to prove that he's still on top. When Savage leaves and goes to WCW, he's trying to prove that he can still wrestle. When Luger goes, Luger's a top star. Luger's an established, current day. Think about it. Luger was the winner of the Royal Rumble. You could say he main evented WrestleMania 10.
Double main event.
Yes. So you have that comparison. Now, though, I don't think Punk is clamoring for a spot. Punk is here to make things different and give back. And Bryan Danielson, to a certain degree, I feel like he's here because he just wants to wrestle people that he never thought he was going to be able to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Adam
Do you
Cole,
think there's any bit of Punk that wants to stick it to the WWE?
I see.
Not that he'll ever say it.
CM Punk is in his Shawn Michaels found Jesus era of his career.
Okay.
Shawn breaks his back, comes back. He's found Christ. He's not about being the top guy. He's just here. I'm here to have good matches and hang out with my friends. And that's it. Punk's way too Punk's super humble right now. He's making amends for the stuff that he did 7 years ago where he took wrestling too seriously, kind of like Shawn Michaels did. And I think now he's just like, I'm in love with wrestling again, and I want to be at the place where, I can have the most fun doing it.
Yeah, and I mean, I would think I almost think that Punk just being there and the attention that it's drawn and the buzz around the company and I don't necessarily think I don't think Bryan is in AEW because Punk is there. And I don't think Cole is in AEW because Punk is there. And I don't think if Wyndham Rotunda comes to AEW, which I don't know that he is for sure, but if he does, I don't think those guys are necessarily going to AEW because Punk is there. But the more names that come to AEW, and the more that are WWE defectors, the guys, and this is where we'll start to blend towards the Mick Foley's comments. The more people that go from WWE to AEW, it's not necessarily because Punk is there, but the fact that it's happening, that is in a way kind of sticking it to WWE, don't you think? So Punk, whether he's there to stick it to WWE or wants to or not, it's happening anyhow. So, like, you know,
that's a good point.
You know, I don't think he doesn't necessarily have to stick it to WWE. Like, I don't think he was ever going there. Like, I know he made a comment in an interview that, you know, he had discussions or something along those lines, but like the WWE was like playing games with him, like in terms of signing him or what have you. And I'm like, I don't think Punk, even if he had any discussions, was ever going back to WWE. I don't believe that for 1 second. I think if he was returning to wrestling, it was going to be AEW or nowhere. I truly don't. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. But I don't think he was ever had any intention on returning to WWE. And I don't blame him.
Put yourself in his shoes.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
If the book was open and, hey, I'll have a conversation, and the moment you feel like you're getting dicked around, I don't need it. I don't. Fine.
Like, here's
Close
the deal.
The book.
Like, here's the deal. If a company made me feel like shit, if a place of employment made me feel like shit, and there was a point in my life where I went, wow, that place really made me feel like shit and really brought me down. Like, I don't think there's a price that you could put on me, like put on it, that would make me go back to that place. Because it's not especially for somebody like CM Punk. CM Punk doesn't need money from WWE. Like, WWE could say, here's a blank check, put a number on it. That's not going to get him there. It's not about, like, he doesn't need the money. I think he's doing just fine. So, like, if a company is that bad and is going to make you feel that bad, why would you go back there? Like, I don't think he was ever going to go back there. I certainly don't blame him. And like Jason says,
Jim,
like,
you're flirting with strike one.
Jason says they're in AEW because of the money. And so what if they are? Like, isn't that what motivates a lot of people?
Except they aren't.
Well, I don't think that they necessarily are, but what if they are? What if some of the people that have gone to AEW only do it because of money? Isn't that part of the reason that WWE was able to scoop up a lot of the indie talent over the last 5 years? Because they were going to pay him more than
they were also. And I think this is a good segue to the Mick Foley thing. For the past 20 years, we've gotten to know a ton of independent wrestlers. And a lot of them, their aspirations are get to the pinnacle of professional wrestling, which was only the WWE. That was your choice. If I want to make it in my field, I want to get to the WWE. 3 years ago, or however long ago, AEW, that changed. AEW is now a factor, and young independent talent, old independent talent can now change their goal and say, I want to wrestle on television for AEW.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option 15 years ago.
No, it certainly wasn't. All right, I have the video. This is from Mick Foley's Facebook page. So let's go to that. We'll get his comments here.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley. I'd like to title this video WWE, We've Got a Problem, because I think you do. And that problem is that WWE is no longer the place for talent to aspire to. Part of it is because AEW is doing a great job of attracting great talent, proven talent, building other talent, creating storylines, but part of it is a problem of your own making. I think younger talent sees the way that developmental characters are cut or left by the wayside, or in the case of Karrion Kross, greatly watered down and even made a joke of when they debut on the main roster. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If I was an aspiring talent now, big league talent with a major decision to make, I'm not sure that I would trust WWE Creative to do the right thing with my career. You guys did wonders with me back in the day. But that was a different time, different place. If it was today, I'm not sure I would trust the powers to be with my career in their hands. And until that changes, WWE, you've got a problem.
I failed to see. My Mark's out. Most people would have thought that would have been me. That would
Mark. That really spoke to him.
Ted.
Mark's he's making a change.
Most people would have figured it was me that would have left during that. But like,
how well said was that?
Show me the lie.
Yeah.
You know, I think Mick has a tremendous point. And do I think there are certainly still some people who WWE is their main goal. But I think, you know, and if, you know, we come back to it, and the episode this week has titled it. I think a lot of people got worked up by Roman in what he said, but like that needle has moved. Like it's you know, I think there are a lot of talents. And Mark's back. Maybe.
What is going on?
Good Lord. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't have put it better than Mick Foley, and he's somebody who, you know, he's been in that locker room, and he's been in that backstage even in recent years for appearances. Like these are the sort of things that should be alarming.
Yeah, it's not like Mick's like a constant critic of the company. He champions for the company often in any chance he gets. You know, I mean, we saw him, three of us anyway, at the stand-up show, and a lot of his stories were just kind of praising the company that he worked for so long. So it's not like he's kind of one of the bitter former talents that's going to say something like this. I think Mick is always going to speak with the best interests of the company at heart. So I think that's why I think it shocked people so much, because you don't see that. You don't see Mick being outspoken about WWE like that. You see him being outspoken about certain talents, about certain social issues, but rarely about the actual company. So I think it holds a lot of weight here with what he has to say, and hopefully it gets in front of the right ears, the right eyes, but who knows, because I've seen a lot of negative reaction about it, and I don't think people are seeing the point of his statements. He's not trying to bash, he's trying to improve the situation as best as he can.
You know, I think Mick is one of the more honest voices on social. Like, he'll call it like it is, whether it's, I mean, he called out AEW for the booking in their women's division. Like, he's not like fanboying for one company over the next. He's giving his honest opinion as somebody who's given literally his life and body to this business. Jason says, when Mark's screen goes blank again, hopefully there's a surprise debut when it comes back. But yeah, Ryan, Tim, Mark, any thoughts on what Mick had to say?
Is there anybody better than Mick Foley, though, to have this opinion? Here we have a guy his entire career known as Cactus Jack, and gets implemented into the WWE system and becomes Mankind with the brown and the mouse, or the rat and the mask. He trusted that enough to say, my career as Cactus Jack only got me so far. I trust the WWE to do the right thing with me and this and this Mankind gimmick. Ultimately, going far enough to incorporate his original gimmick as Cactus Jack in his WWE run. There's not many people that I can think of that have had that great of a success, knowing as somebody else outside of the WWE, going to the WWE and having more success as this new gimmick. So Mick Foley has the absolute right to say, hey, I gave my trust to them. Today I might not. Today, if they pitched the Mankind gimmick to him today, would he say yes, or would he say, I know I can go to AEW where they'll let me be Cactus Jack, that's established and well known, and I can have a hell of a career as Cactus Jack. Bang, bang.
The retort to that, though, is that Mick Foley was at the AEW before he went to WWF. He was in WCW.
That's fair.
And they misused him there. Well, not misused him, but
okay,
he didn't get as much out of where he was.
Sure.
So he had that other opportunity. Now, to kind of make the same point, though, had people 20 years ago or over the last 20 years since the buyout, if they had a legitimate second option besides like Ring of Honor or Impact, would they have taken it? How many talents have we seen come through WWE in that time frame? Like a John Cena, a Randy Orton, a Batista, that 2002 class. That famous 2002, 2003 class. How many of those don't go to WWE if there's another place?
That's fair.
And it's on the rise.
Tim, I think you stumbled onto a great question, and we might have to table this, but Sinclair's a very wealthy company. Could Sinclair have thrown the money at Ring of Honor the way the Khans are doing AEW and made a legitimate second brand to challenge the WWE years ago? And I don't know how long, I don't know how long they have owned ROH.
Yeah.
I know Gabe was part of it. Feinstein was part of it. There was a whole bunch of other stuff. But when the buyout happened, they had the money. They probably could have made a solid run at it, but chose to keep it what it was. And that's fine.
I feel like
I love Ring of Honor.
I feel like that's the difference between, and I mean this, and you and I, Ryan, have talked about this off the air.
Hamburgers?
Like, yes, hamburgers. But like when Tony Khan gets out in front of a crowd with a microphone, he just looks like the biggest mark in the room. And he kind of is. So like I feel like that's the difference. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, the word mark is in money, Mark.
Sure. But like to me, that's the difference between entertainment company that owns a wrestling brand versus billionaire that starts a wrestling company. So like, yeah, could Sinclair have done it? Sure. But are you really going to invest?
I meant done it and be successful. I don't mean done it and challenge like Impact challenge there for a little bit with the Hulk Hogan and money misspent.
Sure. But like Sinclair's looking there like, look, we can do and we can have this Ring of Honor brand and it's going to bring some attention to us and it is what it is. Like, I don't think they were ever going to like shoot that shot and try to challenge the WWE. I think they knew, look, we're probably not going to challenge the WWE. Okay. WWE's the established brand. We're like, Tony Khan's like, fuck it. Let's throw the money bags out there. Let's try.
Can't be worse than the Jaguars.
Exactly. So like, you know, I think that really is the big difference there is it's a billionaire's like, you know, I don't mean this how it's going to sound, but I've heard people refer to it this way is like it's a billionaire's vanity project versus an entertainment company's wrestling brand. I think that's the big difference. And it's paying off probably like I don't know what Tony Khan and the EVPs when they were sitting at the start of AEW, like I don't know what their 3-year goal was because we're basically coming up on those 3-year deals. Like I don't know what their 3-year plan was, but like I don't know if they would have necessarily thought they would have been where they were at this point. And I said something after Sunday night's pay-per-view that like I think AEW's days of booking the collegiate arena are over or coming to an end. And then Tuesday, I think it was, they announced that in December, they're coming to the new home of the New York Islanders, the brand new arena that's opening in New York. Now, it's a big wrestling market in the Northeast, but like I think we're going to start seeing more of that. I mean, they sold out the United Center. You know, they if they haven't already, they're going to sell out Arthur Ashe. They're going to sell out that arena in New York. So like,
is the WWE running the week before them?
Yes, at that arena.
That'll be fun.
You know, yeah, I'm sure there won't be ticket sale comparisons going on there.
There was more bags of popcorn sold at the AEW show.
Yes, Tim.
So Sinclair purchased Ring of Honor May 21st, 2011.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's been over 10 years since they purchased Ring of Honor. And that kind of leads me to my answer for your question, but
yeah, it does.
Yeah. But there was a point I was going to make. Oh, seeing a comment Jason made in the chat. You guys are acting like they're volunteering. We're talking about the wrestlers coming over. Yeah, no, I don't want to come off like that.
That guy volunteered.
I mean,
Bryan Danielson volunteered.
In the day we were talking about with Hogan and Savage and Luger, the focal point of the wrestler is to make money, because you have to think, and I've had this conversation before, and I think I've had it here on the show. Everyone who wrestled for the most part in the 80s and the 90s were a failed something. Failed athlete,
right.
Failed whatever. They're picking up bouncers. They may be wrestling fans, but are they actually wrestling fans? Where wrestlers now, guys like Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, grow up as wanting to be wrestlers. So what motivated a wrestler in the 80s, the money, the notoriety, the being the superstar, because they can see guys like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger be big time, big body guy movie stars. See where Hogan went.
It was Rockstar without the Rock.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now it's about the phrase that's being thrown around a lot is the art of wrestling, the art of professional wrestling, but also people nowadays would give up a portion of their salary to have the freedom to do other things that interest them other than their 9 to 5 or wrestling. Cole loves his Twitch streams. He's the only person on WWE in that contracted group that stayed on Twitch after the mandate of your money comes out of your downside guarantee. He stayed on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is insane. So Adam Cole wants to do stuff that he wants to do. He wants the freedom. Same thing with a CM Punk. He's still able to do his outside ventures with the UFC, doing commentary for stuff for their developmental brand. There's plenty of wrestlers in AEW that stream on Twitch or on YouTube. They have vlogs and stuff like that. And AEW incorporates what the people do outside of television into the mainstream television. Whereas WWE's like, don't be anything else.
Yeah, and I mean this notion of volunteering. Like, okay, so if you work in any industry, I don't care what industry you work in, and there's multiple companies, but there's like 2 really big ones, and you have the opportunity to stay with a company that you work for, or there's another company who does basically the same thing that you do, and they're going to pay you a shitload more. And you know some people who work for that other company, and they're like, dude, this place super fun. Like, you know how like the place we work at, like, you know, that you work at, because I've been there, it's like it's not quite as fun, and they don't like let you do as much stuff outside of work, and like you're kind of like beholden to the brand. It's totally not like that over here. Yeah, and let me remind you, they pay you like, let's just say, even more than what where you used to work. Don't act like you're not gonna, at the very least, flirt with the other side or go, you know what? You know, I only have one life to live. Why don't I go make more money over there? Because we know for a fact that the company over here, the WWE, like, if they can make money on you, it doesn't matter if you go to the other side. Like, I've already seen rumors because, like, you know, those 3-year deals that are coming up, there's already been rumors that like the WWE is you know, are like, there's like, I don't know if there's actually been conversations, but like people are already starting, and I think you might have even said it, Ryan, when we were talking on Sunday watching the pay-per-view, but like I've seen rumors that like WWE is considering throwing like big money at Jericho. And like, I don't think I truly don't think Jericho's going back to the WWE. I think he'll one day be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think Jericho ever wrestles for WWE. But I've already seen some of these rumors that like there's guys in WWE that Jericho wants to wrestle. And like, I mean, Raw could certainly use like a face, a recognizable face that's going to get attention, like a Chris Jericho.
50-year-old former WCW star like Goldberg.
Okay. But like, you know, like, but like the bottom line is it's not volunteering. Like, I'm not saying that the guys that are going to AEW are volunteering, like, but if there's a buzz and there's a notion that that people are enjoying themselves and they're having fun, and like Charlie says, getting more time off, like any number of reasons why AEW seems like a better place to go. I don't think they're volunteering. I think people are making a choice to go over there if that place wants them. Yes, Ryan.
If you're a wrestler and you're at the WWE, is there any concern a year, 2 years from now? I don't know who's owning the company I'm working for anymore, and that scares me. I don't know what a Disney WWE looks like, and that worries me, but I know what AEW looks like, and that feels safer right now. I don't hear anybody having a conversation around that. Is there concern?
They should be having.
Right? I mean, we're all in business. We've all worked at places. If your job and company is up for sale and somebody new is going to start calling the shot, that should worry you a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I also don't think that WWE is ever going to fail to exist.
Isn't that what killed WCW, though? WCW felt like they were in pretty solid ground, and then networks from AOL started calling the shot. Not wrestling people started calling the shots.
Yeah, that's fair. It's certainly fair.
I don't know.
I think the difference is that the non-wrestling people who owned the television called the shots, and then eventually they didn't want wrestling anymore. Whereas WWE, they have contracts out with other like TV stations. And
I don't think like if WWE sells to like NBC Universal, I think that the wrestling people in WWE will probably still run the company, even though it won't be owned by the McMahons.
Okay.
Charlie says with crowded roster, I wouldn't be surprised if in 1 year guys like Hangman or MJF move. I don't think Hangman or MJF are going anywhere.
I can't wait until WWE gets the bill of goods known as Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Like, I can't wait when they're like, he's the next guy. And then they get him, and then they realize he's not that good.
Well, and like,
and they put suspenders and a fucking mask on him.
Yes.
we're like, you're not going to see the MJF promo from last night in the WWE. That's why you have MJF.
WWE MJF has to be sweeter than Little Debbie over Mark's shoulder. That's what WWE gets. Other shoulder.
WWE MJF is probably Bo Dallas.
But like there will undoubtedly be people who at the end of their 3-year, I think that's what most of the initial AEW deals were. At the end of the 3-year deals are not going to be re-signed. I don't know who they're going to be. I don't know if any of them will sign with WWE, but there will probably be people just based on roster size that probably won't get re-signed by AEW. And like, I'm curious to see who they are and where they land. Same as if like, certain people from WWE, they don't re-sign where they land. Wrapping up here, Jason, you guys took my volunteering comments the wrong way. I bought into it. I paid for it. I choose to buy a pay-per-view, and I haven't done that for years. Well, good.
This is the same guy that was AEW trash can emoji, correct? This
correct.
Is Jason?
That's
right.
that Jason.
Jason, hot damn.
There you go.
Here's the deal. There's no questioning they're the hot hand.
Oh yeah, there's no debate about that.
I mean, they beat NXT.
Yeah.
Are you guys all going to watch NXT next week? Any interest at all?
I'm curious to see. Well, like I want to see the CWC and the overhaul and all of that.
And
but
if there's any question that Vince McMahon is calling the shots, there's a goddamn wedding booked on it.
I can't wait for that wedding. I'm looking forward to it.
Get ready. Indy Hartwell is going to be on.
She's going to be Mark's 1, 2, and 3 next week.
Yep, she very well could be. Did you see the bachelor party this week?
I didn't watch I haven't watched a second of NXT.
The bachelor party is worth watching.
Is it? I'll have to check that out.
It was really good. It was really good.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what, the
Phillies lost again. Cool.
I'm curious to see what the new look and feel of the show is going to be and the direction of NXT.
God, I hate the logo.
I'm indifferent on the logo, to be honest. Like, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I want to see it in the context of the full presentation. Like before I like, because like, I mean,
I just hate that it's not centered.
I know. I can't. I just have to push that through. I have to push that through my brain. But I don't even necessarily think Mark's gone. This is kind of like closing thoughts for the week, but like I don't necessarily think a redirection, a new mission statement, whatever, however you want to describe it, for NXT is necessarily a bad thing. I think it actually could be.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. I think it could actually be a good thing.
Oh, hi, Mark.
For NXT and for WWE and where they want to take this brand for the future, because for some of the things we've said over the show tonight is like, who are the young stars of the WWE? And then we heard crickets. Like there really isn't any. So maybe this actually is a good thing. Like the Parker.
Real quick, let's talk about the young stars of the WWE. The young successful stars of the WWE have been treated like AEW treats their stars, and were allowed to carry their namesake from the indies and other places we know them into the NXT brand. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Red Dragon, not as a tag team, but Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. These are like the successful Rod Strong. These are all guys that we knew prior to and came over, and they kept their name.
How old's Roderick Strong?
42.
38.
I wasn't that far off. All right. I'm not saying, all right. I'm saying the successful people in NXT then. the people that came over and have been really successful,
sure,
are people that have been allowed to keep their name and weren't fully rebranded.
Yeah.
Triple H's NXT, these last couple, Skeleton Head, Skull NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm going to give it a shot. I think
I'll watch.
I think I tweeted out the other week, like, if it sucks, then it sucks, and that sucks because I've loved NXT for, the better part of almost the last decade since the network came to be. Like, I've loved NXT, and it's going to suck if that brand sucks. It will absolutely suck. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not writing it off. Just
I fucking hate it.
I love it.
God damn it! If you're only listening to the podcast and you hit this moment, go to the YouTube, please, and just look what it's.
Yeah, we're 2 hours 15 minutes into the show.
Yeah,
bookmark it, remember it.
If WWE is serious about building stars, Cross, Keith Lee, and the Vikings would be the same thing. I think all can agree with Cross was made for Raw or SmackDown, not how he's being portrayed right now.
Yeah.
Like I said, Wayfair Demolition does absolutely nothing for me, man. It's bad. Like, I get that Scarlett, whatever's going on with her health-wise, is the report. It's unfortunate, but you still don't have to book Cross with that stupid-ass mask and suspenders.
You don't.
And Keith Lee, obviously, with the health concerns there, he hasn't been seen since the 1 week he came back. So I don't know if there's still health issues and things like that there. So whatever the situation is with Keith Lee right now, we wish him the best.
Real quick, Tim, this is I think your category more. What's the chances we see an AEW Bullet Club? And is that more maybe to the NWO that you were speaking of?
I mean, technically, we already have it because that's what the Elite is.
Just called something different.
Yeah.
I mean,
because they can't call it the Bullet Club.
But that was what the Bullet Club was. So if you remember, with the Bullet Club, Kenny and the Bucks spun out of the Bullet Club and called themselves the Elite.
Okay.
And that's where, like, the heat between him and Tama Tonga was before. But, like, that's kind of where things are with that.
This whole show is ridiculous.
I love you, Tim. Charlie says he meant on NXT we could see his presentation. We said that. How many times did we say on this show that Karrion Kross's presentation in NXT was built for the main roster? And then he went to the main roster and they literally went,
"Here comes the ass."
Here's none of that. Jason says, I'm looking forward to Sting versus Tully in the geriatric main event after that challenge last night. Oh, yeah. And Devin, this is a good question to end on. Do we see takeovers in big arenas again with the changes coming? No, at least not for a while. I think their home is going to be the Capitol Wrestling Center. I think that's why the shows have been pre-taped and they're overhauling that building. They're overhauling the look of the brand, the logo, the music, the theme, all of it. It's a complete overhaul. And I think we go back to takeovers. And I think, again, right now, I think it is at the very least, it's a good idea on paper. Will it pan out? I don't know. We'll see. But anybody else?
I don't think NXT is a touring brand at all. No house show, nothing.
Well, they might do some like Florida house shows.
Maybe.
Like, like they've been doing just to get guys more work. But because I mean, there's no rules in Florida anyway, so
that's fair.
But any other thoughts before we close out? All right, let's let me make sure I don't blow up our ears here with the music. Let's close up. Ryan, got anything to plug?
Never do.
Awesome. Intern Mark?
I do have something to plug. I want to say happy birthday to cousin Brian, if he's listening. And and I'm going to take a little bit of Matt's glory here. Every Woman of the Week is special, but I think next week we have one that I've waited maybe 90 days for to show up here. So get ready.
I like the teaser there, Mark. I will follow up since we've lost everyone else and say go to the Instagram page at 3 Count Thursday. We do a Woman of the Week feature every week. All leads to a Woman of the Year. This shirt I'm wearing is for Valentina Vasquez, who's our 2019 Woman of the Year. This week featuring Caitlin Alexis. And like Mark alluded to, next week we have someone that he has been waiting for. Also next week, if you are in the Philadelphia area on Saturday, go to the 2300 Arena. Icons of Wrestling Convention. We will be there. We have Casey Catal, we have Gabriela Ortiz, and we have Riley Madison joining us again. So be there. There's other people as well.
Just do it.
Casey Catal in the PWI 500.
Correct. She was.
Was the Tim, and since we're going to you next, the Boar was in the PWI 500.
488, correct? Baby.
Nice. Tim, you got anything to plug?
I do. At Not the Tool Man across all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. I don't TikTok, but if you send me your TikToks, I may find them funny and may laugh and ha 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 ha. If you like my takes here, check me out at Final Wrestling Place at Final Place Pod, or Viewer's Choice, where we break down every WWE, AEW, and NXT pay-per-view as it happens. These are very fun at VC on North South and Charlie. Before you guys roll out, is any t-shirt companies doing anything for Daphne like they've done with New Jack or others? I'm not sure. Let me check. I'm going to look at Pro Wrestling Tees really quick, because if there
I know I didn't see anything on Collar and Elbow brand, which had done the some of the other shirts. I haven't seen anything. That's a great point. I wish somebody I wish somebody did. But I hadn't seen anything. Yeah, because I always get any updates from Collar and Elbow brand from following them.
Yeah, I didn't see one from them either. Great Nikki Ash some representation on Raw this week, which is great to see.
Had the armband. Yeah, I didn't notice that until the end of the match, but a good job there from her. But closing out, you can follow me at Big Jim Sports, but make sure you are following along with the show. We are at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/3 Count Thursday, tpublic.com/user/3 Count Thursday. The What a Maneuver store is still open, but the primary place now is that TeePublic store. Collar and Elbow brand deal. Our home network, NGSC Sports. Our secondary home is the Leap Sports and Music Network. Just go to 3countthursday.com. Everything you need to know about us is there. And until next week, stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.